long time no story time. I thought I would make an update to one of my previous videos where it turns out one of my neighbors is a Yakuza. Not only that he's a Yakuza, I think like inherently there's I don't have any problem with that. It's the fact that he just wouldn't leave me alone. By the way, I have a cold sore and it looks really icky. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get rid of it, but I'm kind of prone to like cold sores and ulcers and stuff. It's been this way since I've been a kid. I don't know, it just kind of sucks. Anyway, so I'll go over some things in my first video just in case you haven't seen that one, because things did change a lot since the first video I made about this. So this all happened because I'm friends with my elderly neighbor. I think she's around 86 and she lives very, very close to me, and she just seems really lonely, and she's kind of like a shut-in. She doesn't really go outside that much. So the year that I've lived in this house, or like year and a half I guess, I've been going over there and like seeing her on New Year's, and like I'll give her a Christmas present, and like Valentine's Day I'll give her some chocolates, just stuff like that, because she does have family but I think they live a little bit far away, so we just hang out. And I don't know, she's kind of a vibe. Like she cooks me food, we talk a lot, and she tells me gossip about the neighborhood, and like if there is something I don't know, like something specific about like a certain trash day, she'll help me with that. So it's kind of like, it's a fun little friendship, and honestly she's kind of vibes. I like her a lot. It's also kind of funny because she's from like Kansai, and when we meet up sometimes she'll start drinking, and like as she drinks her accent will get more and more Kansai bend towards the end, and then by the end I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So yeah, in general, great. However, when I met her, I was with my ex-boyfriend, and he used to come with me to her house when we'd have dinner, and she'd come over sometimes, and so like she knew him very well. And then when me and my ex ended up breaking up, he got a moving van and put all his stuff in it, and then I guess through her window she saw him living in a moving van and taking all his stuff, so obviously she assumed correctly that we broke up. So yeah, after that happened, I didn't see her for a while because I was kind of like busy, so I went to see her and she asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, it's true, like we broke up, but it's fine, I'm just really busy right now, like sorting out my house and stuff like that. And she said, oh well, like why don't you come over to my house this weekend and we can talk about it slowly, and we can drink, and she was like, I'll make you some dinner, it'll be really nice and cozy. I'm like, cool, sick. So that didn't sound like anyone else was coming, sounded good. And honestly, I wanted to talk about it with someone, and in Japanese somehow it's easier for me to talk about things like this, so I was like, yeah, this could be good for me actually. So I agreed, and then a few days later it was Saturday night and I went to her house for dinner. Bearing in mind, I just told her that I broke up with my ex, and honestly like it had been quite a while at this point, but like as far as she knew, it had just happened, and also like for me it was still kind of raw. Anyway, so when I walked in, she was like, oh, by the way, I invited our other neighbor. And I'm like, I don't really know the other neighbors. I know the one that lives directly next to me, and she's like literally over 100. Like, I'm not exaggerating. So I'm like, it's not going to be her. And I walk in, and there is a man. So yeah, there's this like guy, I think he's like late 40s, I would say, or like early 50s, I don't know. Around the late 40s, early 50s, and he's sitting at the table. I come in, I'm like, hi, and I sit down, and then we start eating. This guy, as I mentioned in the previous video, he was giving like low-level Yakuza, like the first time I met him, like because I play Ryuga Gotoku, I play a lot of Yakuza games, I kind of know what is a chimpira, I know like generally like they have this whole vibe, and it's like he was wearing like activewear, even though it was at night. He was wearing like those Nike sliders with like a silver chain, and he also had like burns up his arm, or up his hand. So I was like, okay, maybe this guy is a little bit rough, I don't know. So we talked, and I was really polite. Nothing, I don't even remember that first conversation because we didn't really we don't have anything in common, like like obviously he's just like a Japanese older man that he works all the time, and I do this, so like what are we realistically gonna have in common? I talked with him a little bit. I asked him what his hobbies were, and he said he didn't really have hobbies. I'm like, cool. And it's really awkward because the whole time my elderly neighbor, she's like, oh, like blah 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 son, he's like, he's doing this and he's doing that and he always helps me and always does this, he always does that, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like I don't really know what to say. And she's obviously trying to facilitate this, and she kept like leaving the room to like bring more food and like taking ages. So we were pretty much just sitting there in silence, and he was just asking me really like low level questions about me. And it was just honestly incredibly fucking awkward. And I've been at work all day. I was so tired. And honestly, I didn't really want to deal with any man. Like, I've just, like, come on, I've just been through a breakup. Like, give me a break. So that honestly was awful. But anyways, it was fine. But the problem was, he was like, oh, seeing as, like, we're neighbors, we should exchange lines in case anything happens and I need to speak to you. Like line messenger. I'm like, oh dear God, no. Because I can't say no. And like the old lady was there, so I was like, oh fine. So we exchanged lines. He sent me a sticker. I sent him a sticker, and then that was that, thankfully. And then I went home. Maybe this is where the video stopped the last time. I can't remember. But anyway, so more stuff happened after that. I was in my room cleaning, and then I get a phone call at like 11 p.m. and this is also on a work day, and it was sudden, and I didn't know what it was, so I answered, and it was my elderly neighbor, and she was like, you need to come to my house right now. And I was freaking out because I thought maybe that she fell, or maybe something had happened, or something happened to my family. So I was honestly just like, I was worried. So I put down everything that I was doing, and I ran to her house. And she opened the door, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, no, it's like our other neighbor, Yakuza guy, who I didn't know was a Yakuza at this point, he's got a new cat. And so she just wanted to show me his new cat. And the cat was really, really cute. Like, honestly, like, one of the cutest cats I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like, damn. So the neighbor, he's like, yeah, I know that you like cats, and like now I have a cat, so I thought that maybe you could help me take care of it, because I don't know anything about cats. And I'm like, why did you get a cat if you don't know anything about cats? And honestly, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I'm really, really busy. And so like the old lady is also like, yeah, you should go to his house, and like he has a really nice house, and like then you can see like all his cat toys and stuff. I'm like, did you get this cat so that I would go to your house? Because this, I don't know, it just seemed like a lot, and I'm already like tired of this. And I don't know anything about this guy, honestly, apart from like, this is where I started to suspect he was a Yakuza, because he told me that he used to be a Bosozoku, and a Bosozoku is like a motorbike gang member. I don't think there's really Bosozoku around here anymore so much. Maybe just like a few. So anyways, I'm like, okay, this is maybe why this guy looks so rough. But then I asked him about his job, and he just said he was part of some group, and they owned like restaurants, and like they sold cosmetics, and I don't know, it was incredibly vague, and I didn't really get the answer, honestly, and I didn't really care too much. I was like, cool. But it was just weird that he mentioned it was like a group and not like a company. But that was strange, whatever. Also, my elderly neighbor told me that the cat was a stray cat, and the cat, I've seen this cat, it is beautiful, there is no way that's a stray cat. And then he told me that the same night, oh no, I got it from like my friend who owns like a breeder. So I'm like, okay, you're lying to me already, because you knew that I feel strongly about rescuing cats, and you think I would feel weird if I knew that he got it from a breeder. So the old lady tried to like change the story a bit. Did not like that. Didn't appreciate that. And then, yeah, that night he also said, oh, like my company, we own some like steak restaurants in Ginza. Would you like to come to Ginza and eat steak with me sometime? And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm just really busy with work. I probably won't have time. I'm really sorry. And like, I tried to make it really obvious to this guy that I'm not really interested in him, because I wouldn't really look or talk to him, respond to him, and he'd ask me to do stuff, and I would just be like, no, I'm fine, thanks. Like, I feel like that's enough. Like, in Japan, everyone always harps on about, like, reading the air, so, like, you should be able to read the air. Like, come on, I'm very much not interested in you, sorry. Oh, and then another thing happened where I was walking to work, and as soon as I left my house, I see him come out of his house across the road and like run up to me, and he's like, I'm also going to work right now. I'm like, oh god. So we had to walk all the way down to the station. We had to take the train together, and we went a part way of the journey, and the whole time he's trying to speak to me and telling me about his job and inviting me out to do stuff, and I'm just like, I'm already just going to work, so I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, please. And then after that, it was around Christmas time, and he like gifted me online, you can gift people stuff, and he gifted me some like Starbucks coupons. I didn't really get it, but I was just like, thank you, and sent him a sticker, and then that was that. And then the old lady called me that she wanted to do like a Christmas bonnenkai, like end of the year party. And I think this is the last time, this is the last update, this is the last thing to happen, because this was honestly wild. I agreed to go because honestly I still like her, and I did want to do a party, and she was like, yeah, it would just be us three, you, me, and like that guy. So I'm like, oh, here we go again. And I was like, okay, this time I'm just gonna tell them I have a boyfriend. So yeah, I went to her house for the bonnenkai. I bought some desserts. We had a lovely time actually. She said that she was making crab and shabu shabu, which is like when you take the crab and you dip it in like the hot water, the flavored hot water, and you dip it in ponzu sauce. It was honestly delicious. Right there. Actually, right. It was really good actually. That's why I was like, maybe I shouldn't go. And she said that there's gonna be crab. I was like, okay. So yeah, we had a nice night, a lot of food, and like when I arrived, we ate, and then he gave me a Christmas gift. He gave me this giant like wrap thing that he wrapped up, and he wrote my name on it, and it was like a big jar of cat treats, which looked very expensive and really nice, and I thanked him, and it was like nice but still quite awkward because I'm still trying to like make it clear that I'm not attracted to him at all. And then after that we were just talking about things, and like he asked me what my hobbies were, and I said I like playing video games. He asked me what games I liked, and I forgot the situation. I said I like Ryuga Gotoku, and he was like, I have heard of this game, and I'm like, yes. He said, who's your favorite character? And I said, my favorite character, maybe I have a bunch, but I really like Kiryu Kazuma. And I showed him a picture, and he said, no way, you're gonna love this. He's like, I don't normally show people this, but you like Yakuza, so I'm gonna show you. I actually have the same tattoo as Kazuma and Kiryu. And I'm like, what? Because I've only seen him wear like activewear, and it's like up to his wrists, right? And so he rolled up his sleeve, and he had, I think on his right arm, he had a complete colored in dragon that went like a very like really colorful dragon inks that went up his arm, and he said it goes all the way on his back, and he has a dragon on his back. I'm like, okay, Yakuza confirmed. So I was honestly just stunned. I didn't know what to say, because the Yakuza do not have a good reputation in Japan. It's kind of like really, really nuanced. Like I'm sure they do things that are not bad, but like in general, it's really not good to be associated with Yakuza. And they do a lot of really messed up things like sex trafficking, and like the puppy mills are also them. And then it made me think when he said that his friend was a breeder, maybe is one of the people in his group that owned like one of those cat mills that like just churn out cats. And it's just not good. So I'm like, oh Jesus. I don't know why. I just froze up, and I didn't really know what to say. And then I was gonna tell them that I had a boyfriend that night, but I don't know, I just got like scared even. And this affected me for quite, like since the first meeting. I think like a few months between the first and last meeting had gone on, and honestly it was affecting me because I didn't like the idea that like a man knew that I lived where I live, and he knew that I was single and alone. It just made me really, really nervous, particularly when I realized that this guy might not be on the best side of the law. And anyway, so that happened. I took my gift, I said thank you, I went home. He mailed me some stuff after that. I think it was actually after that he mailed me the Starbucks gift. And then they invited me over again a little while after, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and tell them I have a boyfriend. So I went over there just for like tea. We had some tea. The guy was there, and I was like, oh, I have some news, just letting you know that I've been seeing someone and I think I have a boyfriend now. And they were like, they took it really, really well. Like, she was like, oh, like, that's good to hear, I'm glad. And the guy said, oh, that's good, I'm happy for you. And then that was it. And I think this was like last month. And normally by now she would have called me or something, or like he would have lined me, but complete radio silence. So honestly, I'm super, super happy that I feel like I've completely avoided the situation. But at the same time, it made me a little bit sad because like also, she also hasn't called me or like came to my house at all. So it's like, were you just trying to set me up with this random guy? Like, what were you thinking? I'm not mad at her, and I said this in this last video. I think maybe her heart was in the right place, but it just really bugged me. Like, I've just come out of a relationship, and you're pushing some guy on me, and I'm pretty sure you're aware that he's a Yakuza. Like, we're not 100% confirmed. Like, I don't know. I don't want to absolutely accuse him. So for legal reasons, these are just, you know, like, we're not sure. But like, he had the tattoo. He said he works for a group. Blah, 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 blah. He dresses like one. He acts like one. I don't know. So maybe. If it walks like a duck, if he talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So yeah, I think luckily I may have avoided that whole situation. Like, I hope that he doesn't contact me anymore, because honestly, we just have nothing in common. Like, even in terms of being friends, I just don't see like where we would be friends. Like, we just have nothing in common. I will probably go visit her then in the next week and like bring her some chocolates or something, see she's doing okay, because she is very, very old. But in general, I think it made me a little bit sad, because it's just always sad when like you want to be friends with people and then they just have complete ulterior motives. This has happened to me quite a lot, so it was just like, hello darkness, my old friend. I think it's hilarious as well that I tried to do like the most normal thing, which is just hang out with my elderly neighbor, and it ends up in her trying to marry me off to like the Yakuza. Like, I just can't do anything. I always felt like I'm like a magnet for this kind of stuff. Anyway, so no harm done, honestly. Nothing really bad really happened. I just thought it was an interesting story, and I thought you guys would like to know about it. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Bye!